And starting off early here is You're Gonna Be Sorry. Nabi takes the line for the Guns N' Rollers up against Minstrel Psycho.
Oh, and Yoga Nabi Sorry fighting through that front wall created by the High Rollers. Dropped and dragged right out. We've got Minstrel Psycho on the lead jam.
And now lead jammer basically means it's the first jammer out of the pack, legally passing all opposing skaters. So the ref is going to be pointing his arm at her. She controls the game. She can call off the jam at any point that she wishes, or it'll go the full 2 minutes.
And the way you know who is the jammer is by seeing the star on their helmet.
And we'll get into penalties a little bit later, but Minstrel Psycho has been sent to the penalty box for a forearms penalty. So Nabi here, only jammer on the track after an unsuccessful star pass, which we'll talk about briefly. Big force out here by Alicia Nisbet-Smith. She's assisted by Spocker and Skeeve Holt on the track in green, and makes her way through, and she's now put up 5 points on the board at a tie game, 5-5 apiece, Dolomite.
So, and here she comes through the pack again, looking to make some headway. It looks like Minstrel Psycho has gotten out of the penalty box. She's re-engaged the pack. Oh!
Looks like a low block has been assessed there. And Minstrel Psycho back up and Adam trying to put some more points on the board. This jam is going to go the full 2 minutes. When the lead jammer has picked up a penalty, the lead jam has been released and it will go the full 2 minutes.
So Yoga Nabi Sorry knocked out there, has to restart from the back of the pack, trying to make it through. Looks like we had a direction of play penalty assessed.
That's right. Blockers always need to be stepping and moving in the derby direction. That's the counterclockwise direction. Yoga puts up 14 points total. They're up 14-5 over the High Rollers. Make that 10 as more points have been scored by Psycho before she went to the box.
So and it looks like now we have a new jammer, 212, Raina Rage for the Guns N' Rollers. She is the only jammer on the track currently. This is also known as a power jam.
But unfortunately at this time there are 2 blockers in the penalty box.
She just doesn't have the blocker numbers.
Right. But she does it nonetheless. Lead jammer going to Raina Rage. Blockers and jammers alike can be sent to the penalty box for cutting the track. That is, if they get pushed outside of bounds, they cannot re-enter in front of any other skaters. Other penalties can be for tripping or blocking above the shoulders, using your elbows. It's all in the name of safety.
Right. So Minstrel Psycho back on the track now. She is not the lead jammer, which is why the ref there following her is waving his arms at about waist height.
So Rage there putting up 3 points here for the Guns N' Rollers, and she ends that jam because she was the lead jammer by placing her hands repeatedly on her hips, and that was a strategic call-off. She ended the jam before Psycho entered the pack to put any points up on the board. So that's a 3-0 jam for the Guns N' Rollers, and they're now up 17-0.
So another thing you'll notice here on the track is we have a skater with a cap that has a single solid line on it. That is the pivot. The pivot, to my understanding, the pivot kind of control is the quarterback.
Well, I would say they're the backup quarterback.
The backup quarterback.
You know, you're
yes.
not going to put a pivot out there that isn't jam ready. So they have the special power of being able to receive the helmet cover and become the jammer themselves. So the jammer can then pass their superpowers on. Here we go, Napoleon blown apart, lead jammer. And unfortunately, Keto has picked up a cut track penalty. So Naps has now put up a full 5-point grand slam and is already ready to put up more points.
So here we go, Napoleon blown apart into the pack, trying to make it around. Artemis Foulmouth does. We've got 5 more points.
And Guns N' Rollers did a really good job. What they were doing was stringing it out and trying just to keep Napoleon, who we'll call Naps, really slow. And they have to bridge forward because all the blockers need to stay within a certain zone, a containment zone, within a 10-foot proximity of each other.
I was just going to say, isn't it 10 feet that
That's
you
right.
have to work within?
So you'll see the blockers right now. Harry Carey, 5150 in the green there, is bridging the pack to make sure both jammers are still in play. Naps blows through for 5 more points. This is already a 20-point jam for Napoleon blown apart.
Well, and here we go. We have got a star pass to Ivana Thrasher, who will now pick up the jam for Guns N' Rollers, but not before Napoleon blown apart can call off that jam.
That was a 23-point jam for Napoleon blown apart. And that was also a great star pass from Keto and to Ivana Thrasher. And what that did is put the pressure on Napoleon to call it off. So that definitely was very strategic.
Some good strategy there at the end, and our jammers will start here. Yoga Nabisari and K2 Avalanche here at the Ron Tonkin Jammer line. The largest selection of new and used autos in the Pacific Northwest is only a click away at tonkin.com.
Right out front here, Avalanche is the lead jammer, but Nabi not far behind. The pack going real slow around turn 2 here, trying to deliver Avalanche a point. Looks like she spits in there for a couple, 3 points up on the board for Avalanche and strategically calls that off before Nabi can slice in. All 8 blockers here on the track. Higher rollers taking that front wall. Alicia Nisbet-Smith being their braced wall in front. She's going to try and keep all her blockers from being pushed forward by the power that is Reina Rage.
Well, and Minstrel Psycho now knocked out there, starts again, looking for a little slice of daylight on the side, not finding it before Reina Rage can get out and is your lead jammer.
Psycho looking for some help.
Oh.
She gets forced out. Bit of a mix-up at the front of the pack there for Reina Rage. She's back up and puts a full 5 points on the board. And that 5th point is only ever going to happen when the jammer laps the opposing jammer. You're only going to score a point for legally passing each opposing blocker, but you will get that 5th one for that lap pass. So that's a full 5 so far, but Minstrel Psycho has now cleared that pack. And here we go, Reina Rage calls off that jam as Psycho clears it, and 4 more points for the Guns N' Rollers. That's a 9-point jam for Reina Rage.
All right, here we go. We have Napoleon blown apart, joined by Keto Kabam on the jammer line. Ready to start. We've got all of the blockers there packed in. Wow, Napoleon blown apart right to the inside, right onto the lead jam.
And there we go, Iron Meg with some beautiful footwork on the outside. She's getting assistance out front. They have to stay within 20 feet of their last blocker. Not able to do it. Keto has escaped. Napoleon has put up her points and calls off that jam. Dolomite, what do you got for us?
Bridgetown Chiropractic, the official chiropractor of RCR since the very beginning.
We do love our chiropractors here. Again, all 8 blockers out on the track. This time, Guns N' Rollers take that front wall. There's different advantages to being in the front or in the back. Kind of depends on the jammer's preference. Here, Avalanche jamming for the Guns N' Rollers for the High Rollers, pushes right into that Guns N' Rollers wall.
So Yoga Nabisari able to slip through right to the inside. She's your lead jam. Her blockers there creating a nice space for her to go right to the inside, occupying Avalanche.
High Rollers recycling to the front of the pack, trying to protect their points. And 1 point on the board that she passed legally. So that's a 1-point jam there for Avalanche and the High Rollers. Let's make that 3 for the Guns N' Rollers.
All right, Reina Rage for the Guns N' Rollers, 212. on the jammer line along with Minstrel Psycho, and look at that forward momentum. Minstrel Psycho looking to break through that nice front wall set up by the Guns N' Rollers. Nice push out there. She's going to have to start again.
High Rollers doing a really good job of staying calm, reforming the pack as needed. And right around the outside, there we go. It pays off as Minstrel Psycho picks up lead jammer.
Just that outside track, able to find the daylight. And now Sue ready to start her scoring pass.
Unfortunately, penalties stacking up for the Guns N' Rollers. They have 2 in the box, 1 now in queue. Only 2 blockers can be in the penalty box at a time. Once one of them is standing, then that next blocker can report to the penalty box.
Okay, here we go. 5 more points for Minstrel Psycho. Really taking advantage of the numbers that the High Rollers had.
Heidi Gosik with a great hit, but Rage able to just shake that one off. That jam comes to a conclusion. 10 points on the board for the High Rollers there.
Again, a nice strategic move by the High Rollers. Minstrel Psycho saw Guns N' Rollers coming around and called off that jam before any points could get scored.
With a full squad of 4 blockers, the High Rollers take that back line as Napoleon Blown Apart just tries to tiptoe her way around that Guns N' Rollers braced wall.
So Ivana Thrasher really trying to set that block. Napoleon Blown Apart able to break free, is onto the lead jam now. In the meantime, Keto Kabam knocked out, has to start again, running right into the tough wall of Alicia Nesbitt-Smith, Shaolin Spocker, and McGillicuddy. They are making it very hard for her to get any forward momentum there.
And Napoleon just slices through that pack. Guns N' Rollers doing a great job of resetting and focusing on their defense as Naps is in the mix right now. And Naps is a very unpredictable jammer. She's very powerful for a jammer of her size. And there she goes. She calls it off after putting up, I believe, 10 points on the board for the High Rollers that jam. And we have an official review called by the High Rollers, it looks like.
It was like 2 minutes left in the game, and I see him over here running the camera with one hand and his phone out of the other. And I'm like, dude, and I let him go for just a couple seconds. Maybe it's something important, maybe it's work, it's going, and I'm like, put the phone down, there's 2 minutes left.
Oh, that official review is going to send Keto to the penalty box for a cut track penalty. There was a no pass, no penalty. She passed 2 skaters who were down, but did end up getting a cut track penalty on that. So that official challenge was won.
So a cut track penalty for Keto Kabam, sending her to the PBR penalty box, meaning that we have a power jam opportunity for the High Rollers. And coming to the Tonkin jammer line, number 8, Ron Swanson, who immediately finds daylight on the inside line. and is coming around, ready to start her scoring pass. Here we go. Nice.
Heidi Gosek just doing a great job of splitting up the defense that the Guns N' Rollers already have. Braun, being so powerful, pushes through and puts up 5 more points on the board for the High Rollers.
Oh, Payne Goodall there tried to slow Braun Swanson down. Braun Swanson just shook that hit off and kept right on skating. Another 5 points for the High Rollers there. So Keto Kabam has served her penalty and is now trying to make her way through the pack, but is running right into Heidi Gosek. Nice knockout.
And Heidi Gosek joins up with blocker Iron Meg to give Keto a hard time here in turn 4 of the track, just behind the jammer line where they started.
Well, and now we have, looks like a star pass to Juvie Hall.
And Braun's going to call that one off after a 20-point jam for number Steak, just as the Guns N' Rollers call a team timeout. Dolomite, what do you got for us?
Oh, what have I got here? I've got Bike Punk. Bike Punk, locally printed, eco-friendly stickers, signs, and design. Visit bikepunk.com.
Coming up on Saturday and Sunday, April 25th and 26th, we have a couple of great events right here at the hangar. Saturday, April 25th, it's the Breakneck Betties versus the Guns N' Rollers. And on Sunday afternoon, we're all really excited for this. It's the first Rosebuds All-Star game of the year. The juniors All-Stars are killer.
I am really looking forward to that bout. It's the Rose City Rollers Rosebuds All-Stars versus the Lilac City Pixies. I think they're coming in from Spokane.
That's right, from Spokane.
And that is really, no derby bout is to be missed. But if you want to see the future of roller derby, come on April 26th here to the hangar at Oaks Park for the Rosebuds All-Stars versus the Lilac City Pixies.
As we start this next jam here, we have You're Gonna Be Sorry going up against number K2 Avalanche.
Well, and the Guns N' Rollers, they're setting a nice floor wall, making it real difficult for K2 Avalanche to break free, but is able to. Yoga Nabisari looks like she got stuck at the back of the pack, finally able to break free.
Really smart play by Nabi. She finally took Spocker out. Spocker and Alicia just doing a great job of partner blocking there. Nabi blows through it. K2 puts up her 4 points and calls off that jam.
You know, I have to say, we were talking earlier about Joe's Burgers. Joe's Burgers, 4 locations, awesome burgers, and the official feeder of RCR Volunteers.
Psycho now wearing the star yet again for the High Rollers.
So, and it looks like Raina Rage for the Guns N' Rollers is jamming again. She is broken out onto the lead jam. Minstrel Psycho held up there nicely by Juvie Hall. And Raina Rage now ready to start her scoring pass. Here we go. And calls off that jam.
The jam is called. A little bit of confusion after a penalty, and it looks like Minstrel Psycho picked up a penalty at the end. So Rage also having a really good game here for the Guns N' Rollers. She's been their most successful jammer. She's 3 for 4 in getting a lead, and she had a 9-point jam earlier. She's killing it tonight.
So
Dolomite, what do you got for us?
Well, you know, we got another 4 points there for the Guns N' Rollers, but I also want to say Kind bars. I saw one earlier. Kind, snack like there's no tomorrow.
Power jam here for the Guns N' Rollers. Great opportunity for them to get some ground here against the High Rollers.
So it looks like Ivana Thrasher is the jammer for the Guns N' Rollers. She is in a power jam situation, so she's our lead jammer.
All 8 blockers on the track to help her or hurt her as needed, and she blows right through. That's certainly not easy, going through Spocker and Harkey at the same time. Guns and Rollers, they're on their toes, ready here as Psycho has returned to the track. Big hit up against Payne Goodall.
Oh, Heidi goes Seek delivering a nice blow to slow Ivana Thrasher down. They have really bottled her up at the back of the pack. Not a lot of progress there. And that is 3 points for the Guns N' Rollers before that is 3 more points for the Guns N' Rollers before that jam is called off.
Guns N' Rollers on a bit of a point scoring swing, having put up 12 in the last 2 jams, and the High Rollers 0.
You know, it seems to be all about momentum, and if you can get just a little spark of momentum going, points can happen very quickly.
Navi again now jamming for the Guns N' Rollers, gets tripped up on her own skater, no penalty there, as Naps gets lead jammer for the High Rollers.
Well, and Napoleon blown apart through to the lead jam, ready to start her scoring pass, looking outside and then inside,
huge
right
burst
through.
of speed there. Very powerful jammer, 4 more points for the High Rollers, puts their dry streak to an end with a 4-0 jam.
So it looks like Keto Kabam 828 for the Guns N' Rollers is joined by K2 Avalanche for the High Rollers. They are ready to jam. We've got all of our blockers on the track, packed in there real tightly around that Tonkin jammer line.
Payne Goodall with a beautiful force out to the inside. She's working with Hellslinger, Erin Ishii, and she just barely stays inside, hugging that edge of her skate. And lead jammer going to Avalanche.
Boy, and now we've got some really terrific positional blocking by the High Rollers at the front of the pack.
This is what we lovingly call the wheel. As you see, all the blockers are connected, and they just have a structural integrity that no other type of wall really has, and that's effectively just shutting down Keto at this time. And here comes Avalanche for 5 more points for the High Rollers.
That is the wheel of pain, in my opinion.
It's the wheel of justice. Ayo.
The wheel of justice. Even better, K2 Avalanche through for another 5 points. Keto Kabam looking to make some headway, not able to. Boy, the High Roller wall there at the front, just impenetrable. Avalanche nicely done through another 5 points. And it looks like in the pack we had a star pass to Payne Goodall, who is now jamming for the Guns N' Rollers.
And 3 more points up on the board as the High Rollers cross the century mark. That's an 18-point jam for Avalanche. And again, that star pass to Payne Goodall really put the pressure on Avalanche to call it off, and that was a great defensive move. Dolomite, what do you got?
Well, you know who loves roller derby? That's Kelly Brown. Kelly Brown debt relief.
He does love roller derby, and he helps eliminating personal debt.
Well, and honestly, who couldn't love roller derby? So here we go, Ivana Thrasher with some authority right through the pack and is your lead jammer.
Thrasher has jammed twice this game and been lead jammer both times. She gets her hips past as many blockers as she can with an eye on Psycho. So she's going to put a couple points up on the board for the Guns N' Rollers, and that's just a perfect jam. Get in, get lead, get the points up, and stop the other team from scoring.
Right, and again, nice strategy there by the Guns N' Rollers to get the points they need to stay in the bout and deny the High Rollers any points at all.
3 to 4 pack advantage here for the High Rollers coming into this next jam. This is the 18th jam of the first half here, if you're keeping count. Napoleon blown apart, jamming for the High Rollers, finds that inside line, even with a little bit of a spill, is awarded lead jammer.
So the penalty assessed there on GB Hall. She makes her way to the PBR penalty box. Yoga Nabisari trying to break free.
Minstrel Psycho and Iron Meg have found each other repeatedly so far this game. They're quite the blocking duo.
So, and I see Heidi Go Seek there also coming in. Look at this.
And you notice here the Guns N' Rollers came back to that High Rollers pack to try and play a little offense for Nabi. A penalty has been picked up, but it got Nabi out of the pack and put the pressure here on Naps to end that jam after putting 4 on the board. So that's a 9-point jam for the High Rollers.
You know, we have 2 great bouts coming up next weekend, but you'll also want to mark your calendars for May 16th, which is the RCR Home Season Championships. You're not going to want to miss a night full of fast derby action.
Yeah, that's right. Both Friday and Saturday night, the 15th and 16th, are going to be the champs bouts. On Friday night, the 15th, that's the battle for 3rd and 4th place. And on Saturday, the battle for 1st and 2nd. And these special Wednesday night limited access bouts help these teams get additional matchups against each other, so we have the most accurate champions at the end of the season.
Well, I have circled those days in red. Looks like we'll have an official review here. We'll take a moment and find out what's what.
All right, when I asked the coaches what was happening in this official review, I was told by Penny that Juke is just trying to start junk. I can't use that word. Anyway, he tried to get a cut track called on the jammer, and the no call stands.
All right, here we are ready for another jam, going a little old school. Your blockers are up there at the pivot line, giving the jammers a little bit of opportunity to build some momentum as they head into those blockers. K2 Avalanche able to slide right through to the outside. High Rollers having a numbers advantage there.
Rage still working her way through the back of that pack. She seems to be stuck on Harry Carey's bottom.
So K2 Avalanche, 5 points, just flying through that pack, finding the daylight. You know, her blockers are really, gave her a nice opening. She's able to shake off Ivana Thrasher there, picks up those points, and calls off that jam.
That's right, and that is going to be a 9-point jam for Avalanche, 1 point up on the board for Rage and the Guns N' Rollers.
So it looks like Yoga Nabisari, 808 for the Guns N' Rollers, is coming to the line along with 1701 Shaolin Spocker, who, Ophelia, if I'm not mistaken, has not yet donned the star cap for
not
High Rollers.
Not tonight. Looks like they're giving their roster a workout, and Spocker just finds her foot right around the outside, and she picks up a lead jammer.
Boy, some fresh legs there. Shaolin Spocker on the jam. Yoga Nabisari running right into that tough high roller wall. Iron Meg, Alicia Nesbitt-Smith, and Heidi Go Seek.
Spocker finds her way around the outside. What she did is drop her shoulder and kept her momentum low and was able to find her way around.
And there we go. Looking to break free. Shakes off on a roll. Another 5 points.
And unfortunately, a tough cut track call has been assessed. Yeah, and that's right. Okay, just making sure. So, You're Gonna Be Sorry has a cut track penalty. She was knocked down by Nesbitt Smith, and a foot went out of bound. And because she stood up in front of Alicia, that was a cut track call. And she is technically the active jammer, even though she doesn't have the star on her head at this moment. But Juvie Hall's about to join her in the penalty box, and she'll give it back to her.
So here we go. Shaolin Spocker flying around the track. The high rollers have really got the numbers here. Another 5 points. Right to the inside.
Good effort there by Artemis Foulmouth. Holding it down. When you're down to 2 blockers on the track, your job, losing 4 points, not a big deal. Your job is to stay on the track. Hold down the fort for the rest of your teammates and take responsibility for that. And they're doing a great job.
So 5 points.
And that's what you call a killer jam. That was a 35-point jam for Shaolin Spocker.
Looks like we have a timeout called. So in the meantime, let's say thanks to New Belgium Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ale or Ranger IPA. You can get one right down below us. That's New Belgium Brewing Company.
Love me some New Belgium. Beer's good. If anyone's looking for a fun road trip coming up, all of Team Purple will be playing at the Big O tournament down in Eugene, May 1st through 3rd. Wheels of Justice will be breaking into Wheels of Justice and Axles of Annihilation playing a few games. Bridgetown Menace, who I coach, will be playing, and that's going to be an epic showdown. They have a few games. And of course, the Rosebuds will be playing down there as well. So lots of Team Purple. You don't even have to change your shirt from game to game.
It is a huge event over 3 days, and I haven't seen the full lineup, but it looks like they have a fair number of teams coming in from other parts of the region as well.
Oh yeah, from all over the world. So it's really exciting. Victorian is going to be there. Some of the best teams are going to be there. Rose City, of course, Texas, Philly, Atlanta. Lots of top-notch play. And Rose City wants you there. They want you on Team Purple, 500 strong, right?
500 strong, that's right. And, it seems to me since the reinvention of roller derby across the country, it has just continued to grow, and the Northwest is a hotbed of great roller derby. While we're still waiting, let's say thanks to Blaze Streaming Media. They are offering the live broadcast of tonight's bout. Blaze Streaming Media. All right, looks like we're about ready to come back, but that's going to give me time to say thanks to PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland's music, arts, and events happenings. PDX Pipeline.
So that was an official timeout, giving the officials an opportunity to go over the Star Pass confusion with You're Gonna Be Sorry getting a cut track penalty while passing it, and they were just reviewing, making sure everything was as needed. And it looks like they're all straightened out. And now we have Minstrel Psycho jamming for the high rollers.
And joining her is Keto Kabam. who is finding it very hard to break free of that high roller wall. Boy, Braun Swanson really she is just directing that block, and Minstrel Psycho able to break free, and now is on a power jam as Keto Kabam has picked up a penalty.
Yeah, she got a forearm penalty, and that was definitely contributed by Braun Swanson in her wall there with Rogue One and Harry Carey. But switching penalties, here we go. Minstrel Psycho now going for a forearm herself. So without a lead jammer, which is forfeited when you receive a penalty, this is going to be a full 2-minute jam. Everybody's favorite endurance jam.
Well, and it's no fun to have a jam without a jammer. So Keto Kabam is going to rejoin the pack, looking to break through. The High Rollers have set a nice back wall there. Braun Swanson and looks like Shaolin Spocker to me, locking her up. Again, nice positional blocking there between Shaolin Spocker and Braun Swanson. What's that? Oh, Rita Manuel, I am sorry. I think I might need a new prescription on my glasses. That was Rita Manuel and Braun Swanson.
Blowing through there. Keto Kabam puts up 5 points on the board for the Guns and Rollers. Braun Swanson being sent off the track. Big advantage here for the Guns and Rollers.
So Keto Kabam looking to make some headway, looking around looking to get around Rita Manuel.
8-point jam there for the Guns and Rollers, 6 for the High Rollers.
So yes, that was Braun Swanson and Rita Manuel earlier. And here we are with another official review. Ophelia Mellon's down onto the track. She'll get us a call here in just a moment. RCR is a proud Sports Buddies partner, encouraging young people to get active. Say thanks to Big Brothers Big Sisters Sports Buddies program, which RCR is a proud partner of, helping youth get active in our community.
All right, Dolomite, so the word is the High Rollers are calling an official review because they don't want a penalty. They want to overturn the call that was made on Psycho.
Okay.
So they're disagreeing with the call, and we'll see what the decision is. She has 4 penalties against her. Of course, 7 is an ejection. So they were fighting for that. The call does stand.
And we're ready to jam again with Rain or Rage and Napoleon blown apart on the line. Even numbers, each team having 1 blocker in the penalty box. And it's Napoleon blown apart onto the lead jam, with Rain or Rage able to break free, skating very quickly around the track. That pack looks to be moving pretty quickly. Oh, again, a nice strategic call off there by the High Rollers. Napoleon blown apart caught a glimpse of Raina Rage coming quickly, got the points she needed, called off that jam.
So on that official review from the last jam, Psycho had already served her full penalty, but the coaching staff was just looking to have that penalty removed from the board to give her more room for error in the second half.
More room. Well, you know, the coaches have to stick up for their skaters.
Woo! Big hit there by Heidi Go-Seek on You're Gonna Be Sorry, and she is.
So here we go, K2 Avalanche taking advantage of some great blocking in the pack onto the lead jam. Yoga Nabisari flying around the track.
And Avalanche gets forced out there, takes her time re-entering, is very careful, picks up 3 points and calls that jam off again. So last two jams really hit it and quit it for the high rollers. Just trying to control the clock here as we wind down to end the first half.
All right, now it is Shaolin Spocker. I have my glasses back on. I can see the 7 in between the 1, the 0, and the other one. And we have Keto Kabam on the line. I like this kind of old school style, giving our jammers a little bit of momentum coming into the pack.
Spocker gets forced out, very careful to re-enter. Being a relief jammer, your goal is really just to stay on the track, but she's doing so much more, picking up lead jammer again, as she was the last time. She had a 35-point jam last time, but Keto now out of the pack. We'll see what Spocker can do.
Well, here we go. Shaolin Spocker just so smartly went through to the inside line, saw that opening, got it, and as lead jammer, 4 more points, and 2 for the Guns and Rollers and Keto Kabam, and that brings us to halftime of this special Wednesday night limited access bout.
We're getting started here. Unfortunately, Yogana Bisari is being worked on by a medic, so she will not be rejoining Guns and Rollers. Avalanche jamming now for the high rollers, going up against Raina Rage.
So the high rollers sent Raina Rage out. She has to restart. Braun Swanson, Rogue One, and Iron Megan now. Heidi Go-Seek joining the fun.
Oh, look at that beautiful blocking, that wheel. There's just no place to go. Every time she finds a hole, that high rollers defense just collapses in front of her.
Well, and you'll note how the Guns N' Rollers came back to try and break that wheel down to give Raina Rage some room to operate, but there a cut track penalty looks like, and
yeah,
sending
Braun
her.
Swanson had forced Raina Rage out just barely by the skin of her teeth, and Rage stepped right back in, picking up that cut track penalty. But just moments later, Avalanche picks up a low block for accidentally tripping another blocker. So no lead jammer. This will be a full 2-minute jam.
So it's time for endurance here in this first jam of the second period.
Yeah, well, they're all rested. It's fine. Heidi Go-Seek with a great waitress move, a nice little whip. She was able to play offense and defense at the same time and help Avalanche put up 5 more points.
So
Raina Rage does a fake star pass, keeps it in her hand, and she maintains being the active scoring jammer. Only 2 points on that pass because it was in her hands.
So on a roll there, and looks like Juvie Hall able to slow Avalanche up. Now we have an actual star pass here to Juvie Hall, who is knocked out and will have to start again. Braun Swanson and Iron Meg.
Quite a duo there. You know, and both teams just doing a really great job of playing together. You're not seeing a lot of individual play. You see Braun Swanson controlling, and then you see Iron Meg coming up and assisting her, because playing derby together is better than playing derby alone.
I would have to agree.
Well, here we go. They're out of play from each other, so the Guns and Rollers have to bring it back to be able to legally engage the opposing jammer.
Nice.
Napoleon blown apart jamming for the High Rollers here.
And it looks like Ivana Thrasher jamming for the Guns and Rollers, looking to make it through, and is your lead jammer, Ivana Thrasher. Not to be denied, here comes Napoleon blown apart through the pack.
Wow, did you see how hard Thrasher hit that wall? That wall just got low, sat into it, and absorbed her hit. Thrasher, though, puts up 3 on the board. Dolomite, what do you got for us?
Well, you know, we want to say thanks to our team sponsors here for the High Rollers, Left Turn Clothing, Core Service LLC, Red Fox Vintage, and Upsweat Creative, and the Double Barrel Tavern. And thanks to CrossFit Bauhaus, a GNR sponsor, we could not do this without you. Now on the line, we've got Minstrel Psycho jamming for the High Rollers and Keto Kabam for the Guns and Rollers. Oh, Minstrel Psycho able just to worm her way through the inside of that pack is your lead jammer.
Lots of movement in the pack.
Wow.
Distracted by playing offense for Keto Kabam, Minstrel Psycho just slices through on one fit for 5 more points for the High Rollers.
Found that, you know, if I've learned nothing else about roller derby, it's you've got to protect that inside line. Minstrel Psycho saw that, able to bring it right through.
Psycho fighting for her life. She takes a knee once or twice, but gets up, pushes through, and 5 more points.
5 more
For
points.
Minstrel Psycho.
Payne Goodall headed to the PBR penalty box. We have now a star pass from Keto Kabam to Aaron Ishii. But before that can get going, Minstrel Psycho calling off that jam. 10 points there for the High Rollers. You know, while we have a moment, let's say thanks to Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery, John's Landing's favorite eatery and saloon, Buffalo Gap.
Jamming now, Avalanche yet again going up against Raina Rage. Alicia Nesbitt-Smith with the force out brings Raina Rage to that beautiful High Rollers wall.
So it looks like Shaolin Spocker headed to the penalty box. Getting the pack back together. Avalanche right to the outside quickly and calls off that jam. 4 points there.
I'm hearing a lot of loud noises, and I'm seeing Jukebox Zero buzzing in the ear of the officials, as he does, coach of the Guns and Rollers. 1 down apiece in the penalty box, 3 on 3 as we start this 5th jam of the second half.
So we've got Ivana Thrasher and Napoleon blown apart. Napoleon blown apart breaks, just blows through that wall, is your lead jammer, but here we go. It's going to be a foot race to the back of the pack between Ivana Thrasher and Napoleon blown apart. The pack moving very quickly. High Rollers trying to get their jammer through.
Look at the speed of this
Wow.
pack. And yet, Thrasher able to get through. That's 4 well-deserved points for the Guns and Rollers and 3 for the High Rollers.
Wow, that was an amazing. The speed of that last jam was just incredible.
Dolomite, what do we have here? It looks like Heidi Gosek is wearing the star for the High Rollers.
That is what I'm seeing, and it's going to be her and Keto Kabam on this jam. Oh, Heidi Gosek just sizzling around the track right onto the lead jam. Keto Kabam running into that high roller wall, just impenetrable.
what you're going to see a lot of the time when blockers start jamming is they don't want a lot of offense. They want to bust through themselves because they know how to take people out. And she's doing that right now, giving herself a 5 points in the sky.
Oh, look at
Big
that.
step on the inside. She would like to award herself another 5 points, please. And we have Coach Hannah Jennings bowing to Heidi Gosek. And another apex jump. Look at this high rollers bench. Jennings is going crazy.
So but here, now let's look at this pack. And again, McGillicuddy and Braun Swanson just making it so hard for Erin Ishii to pick up any momentum. But woohoo!
Heidi Gosek calling that jam. She went in, she put her 15, and she decided to call it quits.
Well,
so
she was doing a little bit of everything, jamming, calling the points, calling off that jam.
absolutely. That's the kind of derby we want to see. Lots of energy brought to this game by Heidi Gosek. Now into this next jam. That's Minstrel Psycho and Raina Rage.
No rest there. This jam started very quickly. Alicia Nesbitt-Smith thought she had a nice force out there on Raina Rage, and a track cut called, leaving Minstrel Psycho on the track as your lead jammer, and a power jam opportunity.
With 20 minutes left in this game, the score not very close. What each team is going to be focused on is executing. You know, this game, maybe it's a wash, but they're going to be preparing for home team champs.
Well,
so the high roller is going to be given lots of jammers practice, and look at them locking down the defense in the rear of the pack. And the Guns and Rollers having more penalties than the high rollers, they just need to focus on cleaning up the game and playing together. They're doing a great job against Psycho right now.
Yeah, just sandwiching her there right in the middle of the track. Juvie Hall. And on a roll, slowing her down. 5 points, though.
And that was a great move by Rage to escape that last blocker. Guns and Rollers there did a great job of resetting from defense to offense to defense. Here they go again with a big hit there on Psycho. They prevent all the points from being scored, protected that last point, and that's an 8-point jam here for the high rollers.
Hey, meet the future of car sharing at car2go.com. Car, the number 2, go.com.
Big hit right off the line by Braun Swanson, just opening up the gates for Avalanche to earn lead jammer.
So here we go. Look at that. Bad Wolf and Harikari. A nice force out on Keto Kabam. She's going to have to start again. Here comes Avalanche right into that four wall set by the Guns N' Rollers. Bubba Boom and Payne Goodall, but able to break free 5 more points on that last pass. In the meantime, Iron Meg and Braun Swanson, joined by Harikari, really locking down Keto Kabam, trying to break.
Big step over the apex there. 5 more points for Avalanche, putting up 20 so far.
No, it was back here a little bit further. And then Bad Wolf getting in on the action, blocking for the High Rollers. Look at this, another 5 points for Avalanche. As the High Rollers working, again, as you pointed out earlier, Ophelia, working as a team to really lock down Keto Kabam during this jam. Avalanche tried to get to the inside and step over, but no such luck. Has to start again.
You know, when the Guns N' Rollers are on the track, they're killing it. Unfortunately, those penalties are adding up. They find themselves with 2 blockers on the track at a time. And when they get numbers out there, they're shutting those jammers down.
Erin Ishii trying to slow up Avalanche. Nothing doing there. Here we go. This pack is very tight.
Holy cow. Avalanche, with the help of her team, just put up 40 points.
So, if I'm not mistaken, that jam went the full 2 minutes.
That's right.
So Bridgetown Automotive, when quality counts, call Bridgetown Automotive. Support RCR while taking great care of your car. So we want to give a big shout out to OHSU, Oregon Health Science University Sports Medicine Program. They are proud to be the official medical care team of the Rose City Rollers. OHSU Sports Medicine. Looks like we're ready to derby. We've got Napoleon blown apart and Ivana Thrasher on the line, the Ron Tonkin Jammer line. The High Rollers have one blocker advantage, but the Guns N' Rollers, trying to hold up Napoleon blown apart, have to let her go. She is your lead jammer.
Guns N' Rollers doing a great job of staying together, being patient for Naps to hit that wall. Assisting on the outside there, but Naps is able to step inside with her fantastic footwork, puts up 4 points and calls off that jam. You know, the Guns N' Rollers are having a hard time getting the large point-scoring jams, but they are doing an incredible job of limiting the damage most of the time to just 4-zip, 3-zip, or putting up a few of their own.
So... all right, we have even numbers on the track. It looks like the Guns N' Rollers, they're going to take the four-wall position, and High Rollers in behind them. Rain of Rage and Minstrel Psycho jamming once again. Minstrel Psycho looking to the inside. Nicely done. A very quick spin move onto the lead jam.
Bad Wolf doing a number here with Alicia Nesbitt-Smith in Rogue One. Rain of Rage escapes them barely after some fantastic blocking.
Oh,
Psycho just put up the speed, calls that one off. And that is a 0-0 jam.
So we're going to reset, try this again.
Psycho versus Rage. That's kind of funny.
All right, here we go. Harikari, 5150 on the line. Ivana Thrasher joining her at the Tonkin Fiat jammer line. Nice force out there by the High Rollers. Ivana Thrasher's going to have to start again. Oh, Skeeve Holt looking to make some room for Harikari. And we've had a track cut penalty called.
So we got Thrasher here jamming up against Harikari. We just got that scoreboard updated. Lead jammer Ivana Thrasher looking for some help from GNR. They explode into that pack to help her get a point or two and call that one off before Harky can put any up. And that's a 2-0 jam in favor of the Guns N' Rollers.
Laurelhurst Theater and Pub, the best of modern cinema, independent art, and classic film to Portland's movie lovers. Laurelhurst Theater and Pub. We are ready to jam again. It is Keto Bam and Napoleon blown apart with the High Rollers with +1 on the blockers. Napoleon blown apart right into that four wall, finds an opening to the outside and is your lead jammer. Keto Kabam running into some great positional blocking by the High Rollers. And now Napoleon blown apart running into a solid wall there set at the back by the Guns N' Rollers, but finally finds some space to the inside. 5 points.
Spocker with a huge force out on Keto Kabam, all the way out 10, 15 feet in front of that pack. Just recycles her to the very rear of the pack. Great job there by Spocker. You see her with her hand up, still doing a number on Keto. Guns N' Rollers dividing up their attention on offense and defense, but lucky for them, Napoleon Bonaparte being sent to the penalty box.
Oh, there's Heidi Go Seek, ready to stop Keto Kabam in her tracks, and does. Shaolin Spocker there as well, along with Rita Manuel.
Very slow moving pack. You do see all the high rollers trying to stay together in the front while the Guns N' Rollers trying to create chaos.
So here we go. Look at that. They come together. Rita Manuel.
That was
nice
just
block.
well executed offense by the Guns N' Rollers there. They stayed together. I heard them say a word and they just went and just executed. Created that inside lane for Keto Kabam.
So and here, Napoleon Bonaparte back on the track, picking up 4 points on that last pass, looking for some daylight, getting her teammates to help, her blockers there, helping her navigate through. It does.
Hey, you know those little wooden toys for kids where you put your thumb in them and the little animal will like fall down and then
Oh,
it gets
yes.
back up? That's how Napoleon jams. She's just like all over the place, like all her body parts moving around, fast twitch, go, go, go. I find her to be one of the hardest jammers to block.
So always with the forward momentum, never quite falling apart. You know, those little toys, they always kind of held it together.
Springy.
They are springy, and that is what we saw in that last jam. 14 points for the high rollers there behind Napoleon Bonaparte.
Hey, now we have Payne Goodall wearing the star for the Guns N' Rollers. Pair of fresh legs out there.
So avalanche through, right onto your lead jam. Boy, really benefiting, the high roller jammers tonight really benefiting from some amazing team blocking, really knowing where to be at the moment to maximize their offense and minimize any sort of damage the opposing jammer is going to do.
As you were talking, I was thinking about what I wanted to say about how graceful Avalanche called off that jam, and then she tripped on the way to the team bench. So, we're all human. 4-point jam there for Avalanche. 3-4 blocker advantage in favor of the Guns N' Rollers here.
Here we go. Raina Rage and Minstrel Psycho on the track.
Again, the matchup of Psycho versus Rage.
Both jammers running into some nice blocking by both teams. Raina Rage, Shaolin Spocker and Harikari kind of pinning her in, sending her back out. She's going to have to start again. Minstrel Psycho crushes right into a nice four-wall set by the Guns N' Rollers. Picks herself up, keeps moving forward. Such forward momentum there by Minstrel Psycho, just knowing instinctively how to move that wall.
And Psycho's gonna call that one up before any more damage has been done. She looks a little beat up. She's checking her face here.
So that was a tough 5 points.
It was.
Scored. Looks like Heidi Go Seek ready to jam again. Payne Goodall on the line for the Guns N' Rollers. Guns N' Rollers are going to have one blocker advantage as Harikari serves her penalty in the PBR penalty box. Here we go. Nice four-wall set by the Guns N' Rollers, but Heidi Go Seek finds the seam and makes it through your lead jammer.
Heidi checking the bench for her coaches. She just busts through that wall. She puts her leg between those blockers, and if she can thrust her hip forward, she'll get all those points, and she does that, puts 4 up on the board, and calls that jam.
As we get set here, let's say thanks to the Nightlight Lounge, RCR's favorite Clinton Street bar and the only place to get RCR tickets in town. So if you're planning to come next week, the 25th and 26th, or the 15th and 16th, you're going to want to get your tickets at the Nightlight Lounge. Our jam is ready again. Wow! Ivana Thrasher quickly stepping through the pack, finding the inside line. Your lead jammer. But it looks like Napoleon Bonaparte coming very quickly, ready to help her team.
Thrasher just killing it in the lead jammer department here. Again, she's 3 for 4 lead jams in the second half, as she was in the first half.
So, but again, Napoleon Bonaparte skating so quickly, able to put the pressure on, forcing the call off there before, with only 2 points scored. So very strategic bout tonight from both teams, very smartly playing. So here we go, Avalanche and Rain of Rage. Avalanche out on the lead jam. Rain of Rage, nice force out there by the high rollers. They're dragging her and dropping her way back. Bad Wolf and Shaolin Spocker.
Payne Goodall there finishing a beautiful run back on Avalanche, just sticking on her. Avalanche has a great ability to maintain her forward trajectory, but Payne Goodall just stayed on her like glue.
So Avalanche finds the open slot to the side, to the outside. 5 points there. We're gonna reset. The Guns and Rollers are resetting a nice four-person wall there at the back. But again, Avalanche is just finding those small openings, those little bits of daylight, and able to slip through, and then runs right into an immovable wall. Takes a spill, gets up, keeps the forward momentum. Almost stays in.
Almost. Bit of chaos here in turns 3-4. Payne Goodall escapes. And that is the end of that jam. And that's 10 points there for Avalanche. And we have a team timeout called by the Guns and Rollers.
Looks like so we'll have an official review here. Ophelia Mellon's headed down to find out what's going on. We'll get that call here in just a moment.
Head ref Kieran Duncan had a very elaborate answer for me, but just to boil it down, the no call stands. Our fans have feelings about that.
And here we go. Heidi goes Sieg and Keto Kabam jamming here. Oh, Heidi goes Sieg. Bulls through is your lead jammer. And here Keto Kabam runs in right into Alicia Nesbitt-Smith. Nicely forced out. Having to start again. Oh, look at that drag and drop way back by Ivana Thrasher. And we have a star pass to Hari Kari right to the inside. Everyone paying attention to the outside. Hari Kari decides to go inside and is now your lead jammer.
I believe the lead jammer status is forfeited when you hand off that helmet cover.
Okay.
They were just doing it for funzos, but Harky taking a back block call.
Well, there's no fun in not having a jammer on the track.
Oh, well, and they're making her take a lap because the penalty happened in front of the line of no return. That's a boundary line just past the penalty box that if you pass it, you have to do another lap to re-enter that illegally.
All the way around. So that'll leave Keto Kabam as the only jammer on the track. A power jam opportunity for the Guns and Rollers. And Keto Kabam runs right into that tough wall set by the High Rollers. Heidi Gosek, Skeeve Holt, and Alicia Nesbitt-Smith just working together so well.
And that's really not easy to do. While Keto was outnumbered in that moment 3-1, you have to be really careful not to make any mistakes as a blocker. You could easily get blocking in the wrong direction, a clockwise penalty. You can get a forearm. And so that was really excellent blocking there by especially Alicia Nesbitt-Smith. Who I gotta say, she is on completely new gear, totally unbroken in. Unfortunately, her gear was stolen, but she is now skating on all new gear and killing it. I'd be falling all over the place.
Whether I had new gear or well-used gear, I know that I would be falling all over the place, even trying to get that gear on.
Psycho doing a great job pushing one direction, hopping out of it, and pushing the other right around the outside of turn one, but Guns and Rollers doing a fantastic job of bridging and blocking together. Rage still fighting in the pack herself as Psycho picks up a lead jammer.
Well, and here the High Rollers again setting a really terrific wheel holding Raina Rage up. Payne Goodall, though, eventually came back and helped her teammate by breaking that wheel up, letting her break free. Didn't result in any points, though. Minstrel Psycho able to pick up 4 more at the end of that jam. You know, some of the friendliest people work at Echo Construction, and they love custom home building, remodels, and roller derby. Echo Construction.
Boy, Avalanche jamming here for the High Rollers. She makes it look like this is the first jam of the game. Big hit, and it looks to be legal, so she is the lead jammer here.
Boy, Avalanche right through 5 points.
Erin Ishii jamming now for the first time for the Guns and Rollers. And that hit from Avalanche was to whip it good, who had to take a second just to shake it off. And being a killer player that she is, she's re-entered the track. She's wearing the captain, so way to lead by example there to whip it good.
So, and there we have a star pass from Erin Ishii to Ivana Thrasher. Avalanche sees that happening, calls that off. that jam off. Another 14 points.
Again, I just want to remind you that coming up Saturday, April 25th is the Breakneck Betties playing the Guns and Rollers Saturday night, April 25th. And the next day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Sunday, April 26th, the Rosebuds All-Stars versus Spokane's Lilac City Pixies for the debut of the Junior All-Star season right here at the hangar at Oaks Amusement Park.
Well, let's say thanks to X-Ray FM. X-Ray FM loves Derby. Find X-Ray at 107.1.FM.
Meanwhile, Napoleon Bonaparte, lead jammer here for the High Rollers. Little bit of spill with Helsinger in the back of the pack. They say hello, and she continues on her way. Payne Goodall able to shake off Iron Meg. No easy feat. Rolls and spins right out of that block.
And it is a fast-moving pack. Napoleon Bonaparte comes in, calls off that jam.
Boy, you could not tell. Obviously this game is definitely in the High Rollers' favor, but based on the intensity of this jam, you would not know that it was going that strongly in the High Rollers. Now, a timeout is called at the last possible moment by the High Rollers bench because they want Skeeve Holt to jam.
We were hearing the call.
You can hear Skeeve. Our fans and friends trying to get Skeeve on that line.
And she is ready. You can see it in her eyes. She is ready to jam for the High Rollers.
I just wish she thought roller derby was fun, and you just can't tell, even though her smile is bigger than her face, like a cartoon, and her eyebrows are like above her head. It's very cute.
So, after this bout, it might be time to hit 4K No. Amazing Tacos with 2 locations on Mississippi and Hawthorne. 4K No? No, 4K, yes. Who else? Let's say thanks to Shebop, a female-friendly toy boutique in Portland, Oregon. And here we go. It looks like Van Helslinger.
Oh my goodness.
999.
What an exciting last jam. We have Skeeve Holt wearing the star for the High Rollers going up against the one and only Van Helslinger for the Guns and Rollers.
I think this will be the jam of the night. You can feel the intensity. They are ready to jam. While we're getting it together, let's say meow for Black Cat Plumbing, your local neighborhood plumbing company and a proud part of RCR since 2009. Black Cat Plumbing. While we're getting things set to go, let's say the magic is in the hole at Voodoo Donut, proud sponsor of the Rose City Rollers and your Wheels of Justice.
All right, I think we're done fooling around. We're ready for some hard-hitting action. Skeeve Holt, Helslinger jamming. 4-3 pack advantage here in this last jam in favor of the High Rollers.
So I'm liking this. It looks old school derby style here for Van Helslinger and Skeeve Holt.
Skeeve Holt sliding into home base. Looking to pick up lead jammer. She's got 2 more blockers to beat.
Oh, but look at that impenetrable wall of the High Rollers at the back. Shaolin Spocker, Alicia Nesbitt-Smith, and of course, Iron Meg.
Big force out there. Skeeve Holt returns to the rear of the pack. Helslinger up on the inside with Alicia Nesbitt-Smith all over her, and she's careful to not get a cut track penalty.
So here we go, Alicia Nesbitt-Smith, Iron Meg, saying no such luck.
Wow, Skeeve Holt gets hit so hard that her helmet cover comes off. Lead jammer to Skeeve Holt.
Here we go. Oh my gosh, a big step through the turn. Skeeve Holt with a 5-point pass.
Guns and Rollers lose a blocker to the penalty box. Helslinger has removed her helmet cover to play some defense.
What grace by Skeeve Holt on one skate around the outside. Racking up the points here for her team. The High Rollers will not be denied.
Well, she takes a big hit but manages to keep her entire body in bounds. So this is already a 15-point jam for Skeeve Holt.
So Honor Roll tried to bring it to a stop, but Skeeve Holt would not be denied. And not only that,
Big hit by Vava Boom. Shakes that one off. We now have a 20-point jam for Skeeve Holt.
but not only that, it's a power jam for number 49, Skeeve Holt, skating with authority around the track. Her team.
And that's 2 more
the
points
way.
at the end. That's a 22-point jam for Skeeve Holt.
All right. We'll take a minute and we'll get our MVPs here down on the track.